Oh, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Little Fat Mushy Tove, representing the WCIS. We can inspire someone. OPP, only promote positivity. Shout out to Waterbed Head, shout out to Uncle DV, and shout out to the whole WCIS community. That's all about a unity. Shout out to Jersey Devil in the comment section early. All right, she got up in there early. Now I'm gonna tell y'all. I want to say I apologize for being late. Let me start off by saying that. Let me make sure the IG is good. Let me know if the microphone is nice and clear. What up, crazy lunatic is in the building. What up, crazy lunatic? What up, Ashy Larry? What's going on, my brother? Let me say I apologize for being late, but I mean I've had a whirlwind of the last 2 days have been a whirlwind. How are you doing, man? Like Joanna, what up, Joanna's in the building. All right, so I'm telling y'all right now, I need everybody to hop into the show with me tonight because your boy is running on fumes. I'm running on fumes. My main man Tom is in the building. Acknowledge me. We the ones. What up, Tom? What up, Joanna? What up, Ashley, Larry? The fourth hostman. I am so hungry. I'm so tired, but I came straight from work and jumped right onto this camera. I am ready for the show, but Lord have mercy. I have had a whirlwind of the last couple of days. Woo. What up, Tom? What up, Joe? How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Hopefully everybody's feeling good, feeling got some positive energy, positive vibes. You hungry for some unity? Yo, I am starving right now. Hold up. I ain't even get my hold up. Gotta get Prince in the shot. There we go. Let's get my man Prince right there. All right, there we go. Let me move it over just a little bit. All right, there you go. Yeah, they came and renovated my apartment over the last 2 days. They showed up yesterday out of nowhere, like out of my sleep. They knocked on the door, was like, "Look, we ready to renovate the apartment." No warning, no precursor, no nothing. I'm like, "Yo, hold up, we ain't prepared nothing." Y'all literally have had to move everything in my apartment twice now, twice. I am so tired, and then I had to go to work. It's been a long day for your boy, Little Fat Mushy Tove. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I wanted to come home tonight and just go fix something to eat, lay down, and go to sleep. But I said, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. Got to come in and hold it down for the WCIS community. All right. Yeah, they came and nah, they didn't renovate nothing in my room. My room is in pretty good shape. They just have to fix something in the there's like a crack in the ceiling in my room. So they're coming to do that tomorrow. But nah. I'm not. There's no such thing as too tired to come on to the show. I'm a man of my word, and I'm here. All right. So we're gonna get into a good conversation. Let me drop the link in the chat, but I do want everybody to jump in with me tonight. My energy is not gonna be as rambunctious as usual. Let me know how I'm sounding. Is the microphone sounding good? Everything sounding right? Y'all let me know. Everything sounding good. Y'all tell me what y'all want to talk about. Last week we was talking about, the young lady who said she wouldn't date the bus driver, and boy, I got some interesting comments behind the scenes after they heard me say what I had to say on that show. I don't really want to I don't really want to get into it, but I had some interesting commentary behind the scenes when it came to the discussions and the conversation we had from that show. So, what we want to talk about tonight. Oh yeah, Joanna, what was the topic you said you wanted to talk about? I'm sorry, I really didn't have a chance to prepare. So I'm really counting on the WCIS community tonight to Joanna says she had a topic that she wanted to talk about. Joanna, you remember what it was? I said we were going to come back and talk about it. You sure the woke squad came after me? Yeah, I had some people that had some things to say about what I mean, but it's always good, you know. It's good to have those. It's good to have those type of conversations, though. Those conversations are good. They're needed and they're beneficial. You know, it's good to have those type of conversations. All right, so tonight, I mean, we could talk about. I'm waiting for Joanna to hit me up and tell me what she said. She had a topic. Ashley Larry, oh, toxic background and how we moved on from it. Okay, toxic backgrounds and how we moved on from it. All right, Joanna, you want to jump in and you are you available to jump in? We could talk about it. I'm with it. I'm with it. Ashley Larry said that they had. Oh, hold up! I didn't even fix. Oh, I didn't even get a chance to fix this. All right, there we go. Ashley Larry said they had an idiot kill some people in the mall over the weekend. Wow, that's terrible. Just like just for no reason, like just off GP, just on some straight. Was it something going on? Was someone being attacked? Was it what was the point behind him? Was it just like a straight up murder? Just came in with murder on his mind? It's crazy. On some BS. Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear about that. You know, nobody I mean the world that we live in now is it's just getting worse and worse out here, y'all. People are starting to lose their humanity, starting to lose hope. They're starting to I mean, it also goes back to what I said last week, you know. The further we distance ourselves from the creator, you know, God is like the moral compass, you know. God is the moral compass. He is the he gives us the understanding of he's the definition of the you know how you go about judging what's right and what's wrong. You know that and when people continue to distance themselves from God, Jesus, you know, they act out of a lot of evil intentions come to the forefront. A lot of evil intentions come to the forefront, and people they just get to the point where they just don't even care no more, and it's really scary. They need to take it out on themselves, not other people, because they are mad. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people walking around dealing with a lot of things, and instead of really taking time to figure out what the issue is, they lash out. They want to hurt other people. They want to bring other people down with them. They want to. They want to. Some people really want to go out in infamy. You know, like just to be infamous. You know, sometimes people feel like they can get more attention, and that's the key word is like attention. It's getting to the point where people will almost do anything for attention, literally anything, and that is scary. That is very scary. And I think that we definitely have to Tom said mental illness is at an all-time high. Yeah, we really have to how old was the gentleman, well, was the person who uh did the shooting in the mall, how old was the person? Did they give any details of how old he was? But yeah, it's a scary world we living in, you know? It's a scary world that we living in. But yeah, I don't want to stay on that topic for too long. Okay, so Joanna said toxic background and how we moved on from it. He was in his early 30s. Wow. Okay, so a toxic background. I mean, I definitely came from a toxic background. That's for sure. I came from a toxic background. And how did I move on from it? I was able to learn from the mistakes of the people around me. You know, my mother, my father, I was able to learn from their mistakes. And it's funny because I just came from work and I was actually having a conversation. I was doing an interview today. That's why I was running late. I was doing interviews for my job. And the conversation got a little bit longer and a little bit deeper than what up, Jersey Devils in the building. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for being numero uno in the chat tonight. All right, Jersey Devils in the chat. She dropped the first bomb in the chat tonight. Sorry if my energy is a little low, but look, I've been up since like 8:30. I had to move everything in this apartment. Solo dolo tove. I had to go to work. I came home. I haven't eaten. I'm tired. But I said, nah, I can't let the show down. I gotta get up on the show. All right. Anybody want to jump onto the show with me? Feel free, cause I am definitely my energy levels is not where they need to be, but I'm never too tired to get into a good conversation. So toxic backgrounds and how do we move on from it? Toxic backgrounds, toxic, things that we went through in the past that were toxic. I mean, you have to learn, first of all, you have to be able to hold the people around you accountable for the things that they're doing. Then you also have to be able to look at yourself and see what you're tolerating, you know? And then you have to understand your self-worth and your value. What you will and will not tolerate. If someone is continuously treating you in a way that you deserve more, that you do not treat that person in the same manner that they are treating you, sit down and have a conversation. And if they don't feel comfortable with what you have to say and you don't see any change in their actions, then you have to move on. You can't stay in a toxic situation but for so long. So some of the things in my past that was toxic was um I definitely wanted I definitely wanted the woman in my life to kind of fill a void that was left by a lack of affection, a lack of attention that I didn't receive from my mother. I was looking for someone to fulfill something that I was looking for somebody to um do a job that they were not qualified for, and they didn't even apply for that position. I was just putting people in that position like, look, you're gonna have to heal me. You're gonna have to be, everything that I'm missing, everything that I'm void of. I need you to fulfill that for me. And that was definitely toxic. Definitely. You got that from Aunt B, but yeah, that's true. I did get a certain level of attention and love from my Aunt B, but uh no one can replace no one can replace your mother though, like you can't replace. And see, me and my mother are so close in age. It's right here on the screen. Joanna said we want to talk about toxic backgrounds and how we move on from them. All right. So things you went through in your past, toxic situations that you've been through in the past, and how were you able to move on? How were you able to move forward? How were you able to learn from it and become a better person? All right. So once I was able to realize that there was definitely something wrong with me. There was definitely something out of off balance, because you can't continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. I was expecting, I didn't want to look at myself. I was just thinking, like, I'm a pretty nice guy. I don't really do anything bad to anyone. Why would anyone have a problem with me? I couldn't see my own shortcomings. I couldn't see the problems that I was having. I couldn't see the issues that I was running into. I didn't see it, or I didn't want to see it, you know? I didn't see it, or I didn't want to see it, or I was ignoring it. I don't know exactly. All right, let me put the link in the chat. Um, but I'm happy that I did. I'm very happy that I did, because it definitely made me a better man, and it made me a better man in every way, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to family, when it comes to work, and when it comes to my own personal development and being able to understand, how do I become better and how do I heal? How do I put in the work to make sure that I hold myself accountable for what it is that I'm allowing in my life, and what it is that I really need to work on to become better when it comes to my interactions and my relationships with people in general, but especially romantic relationship, especially romantic relationships. So yeah. So what are some of the toxic situations you've been in the past? That's the question for everybody. Some of the toxic situations or toxic things about you, that at one point lived within you, but now they no longer reside. All right. Ashley Larry said, what do you say to people, men and women, that stay in a toxic relationship because of necessity? What I would say is grow up, you know, get up, go look in the mirror, and realize that toxic behavior, whether you're the one who's giving it, or whether you're the one who's receiving it, understand that you're worth more than that. And if you're the one who's giving it, that person, that's if you're with them and it's toxic and y'all both know it and y'all just in it, and that's not love. That's not love. That's what I would say. That's not love. Does getting picked on in school count? No, because you have to go to school. You got to go to school. So that's not really staying in a toxic relationship, because you got to get up and go to school. You know, you can't. The people, your classmates don't owe you anything. You would believe that a person that's your friend or someone who's your lover, someone you're in a relationship, you would believe that they owe you something. You want to believe that they owe you something because of what you're putting forth, what you're giving to them. You would want back in return, but that's not necessarily the case. No, actually, that is not the case. That's not the case, because don't nobody owe you nothing. They don't owe you anything. And in a lot of ways, I was my own worst enemy when it came to that. I felt like, okay, well, I'm doing this for someone. I expect them to do the same thing for me. And that's not the case. That is not the case. People are not like that. You know, takers love givers. takers, takers love givers. They seek them out. They can't wait to come across someone who's willing to give and go above and beyond for them. Everyone doesn't believe in reciprocity. Everyone is not going to give the same way that you give. And I was under the impression that if you treat people a certain way, you're always nice to them, you go above and beyond for them, then they'll do the same for you. And that is not the case. So let me go back up to Joanna's original question. All right. So what are some of the toxic situations or traits that you've had to deal with in the past, and how did you move on from it? All right, that's the question that we're tackling tonight. All right, Tom said he never. So Tom, you saying you never went through any, you never had any toxic situations that you had to deal with and had to overcome? I've had a lot. I've had a lot from my childhood, from my parents, from from women in my life. You know, there's definitely a lot of things that I've been through. I didn't realize it in the moment. I didn't realize what I was going through in the moment, but now that I'm older and I can look back and recollect on certain things, I can realize where it was so toxic. It's toxic to it, it's toxic. I used to and it's funny cuz I spoke about this. Um I would engage, I would engage in conversations, go back and forth and argue, you know, when I know that I'm right, or I'm trying to prove to someone that I'm right, or I'm trying to get them to see it from my point of view, going back and forth, arguing, fussing, fighting. And this was in my 30s, maybe in my 40s. My man Trippy Tomb is in the building. What up, Trippy Tomb? What's going on, bro? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. I didn't even tell y'all. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. And make sure you hit that thumbs up button, support the channel, respect the WCIS positive, only promote positivity, that positive energy we out here giving it out, giving it out for free. Trippy Tomb, I want you to answer a question, all right? Tell me a toxic trait or toxic situation you've had to deal with in the past, and how were you able to move on from it? How were you able to overcome? All right. I hope, yeah, life didn't treat me so fair over these last 2 days. But, I woke up, uh, they renovating my apartment. They just showed up yesterday and said, "Hey, we renovating your apartment." We didn't have any chance to prep anything. So I literally had to get up the last 2 days. I had to get up at 8 in the morning to pretty much move everything in my apartment so they could paint and fix, plaster, and then I had to put everything back in place. Yesterday was okay because I didn't have to go to work, but today I had to do that this morning, and then I went to work, and now I'm straight from work. I'm straight on the stream. So if y'all see my energy a little off tonight, if y'all see it dwindling, y'all know why. I've been up since 8 this morning on maybe about 5 hours worth of sleep. Maybe about 5 hours worth of sleep. So yeah, it's been a long day. Definitely a long day. All right. So if anybody want to jump into the stream, I just put the chat right. I mean the link in the stream. Not only am I tired, but I'm also hungry. If I had something to eat, maybe I would feel a little bit better. But I was like, nah, let me just come and do the show first. That way when I eat, I can just sit down and relax. What up? What up, Wild Lotus Flow? Welcome to the stream. What up, pretty princesses in the building? How y'all doing? All right. But yeah, it's just been a long day. It's been a long day. I actually need y'all to come give me. Usually I'm up on here mad amplified, but I need y'all to help me with some energy tonight. Damn, I've done so many. Crazy lunatic, how old are you? If you don't mind me asking. Cause 5 hours worth of sleep. on at 46 years old. Yeah. All right, we got a special guest. She done jumped into the queue. All right, I thank you for that. We got Miss Jersey Devils in the building, knocking on the door. All right, Jersey Devils in the building. Let's bring Jersey Devil on into the stream. All right, crazy lunatic. So yeah, you 30, turning 31 in July. Yo, try that at 46. Yo, if I got to get up that early and get into that, that type of level of physical activity, yeah, yeah, boy, I need about at least 7 to 8 hours worth of sleep. All right, we're gonna bring Jersey Devil into the stream. Let me set my camera right now, so it'll there we go. So it'll center me. All right. Let's bring Jersey Devil into the stream. What up, Jersey Devil? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. All right.
What up?
What's going on? How you feeling tonight?
Good. I know that you had painters come and you sounded like you was about to give us a 30-minute show. So I was like, let me hop on here.
Wait a minute. Who the hell ringing my bell? I ain't even answering. I'm not getting up and answering the bell. Somebody ringing my bell. I don't know who it is. Probably somebody trying to get in the building. Nah, I wasn't gonna give y'all a 30-minute show, but I'm telling you, my energy is ooh boy. All right, but you here now. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So yeah, let's talk about. We always have good conversations. So let's talk about some of the toxic situations or traits that you've recognized within yourself or situations that you've been in the past. And how did you handle it? How did you overcome it? And what advice would you give to someone that may be going through situations that they know are not good for them, but for some reason they can't pull themselves out of it? They don't want to pull themselves out of it, or they're actually okay. I actually do have to go answer the bell. Hold on. I'm gonna bring Jersey Devil to the front of the stage. I'll be right back, y'all.
Well, I'm only going to assume what the rest of that statement was, but I can say for myself, like one of the toxic situations or traits, I guess, um, would be acknowledging that my part or my ownership in past situations that I deemed were toxic and not taking self accountability on what actions I took to get it to that point. So, while I'm not toxic now, I've not always been as level headed and, I don't know. I don't know what the word would be. Ashley, give me a word. I would say I've not always been as mature as I am now. So, just taking some self accountability, learning to apologize, learning to be not just the bigger person for namesake, but being the bigger person, acknowledging your part in whatever the situation is. And if you truly want change, if you don't want change, then by all means continue whatever behavior. But if you always wonder, why do situations always turn out like this? Or why do I attract the same people? Why are my relationships always toxic and chaotic? I would say the best advice is just taking some self accountability, some self inventory on what part did you play to get it to that point, and how you can, modify your behavior to get a different outcome. Shut up, Ashley. I'm just saying, I've not always been, as mature as I could be. So just taking some ownership in my parts that I played, and instead of just saying, oh, they're narcissistic or they're toxic or, everybody's always crazy. I think that old saying, if all of these situations follow you everywhere, then is it you or is it other people?
Right. I think a lot of people refuse to see themselves as the common denominator.
Yeah. So I would say I know you missed part of it, but just saying like, for myself, realizing that I want a different outcome in the company that I keep, the relationships I engage in, the people I have in my inner circle. So just taking self ownership and some self inventory and accountability for the parts that I've played, and getting situations to that point or to a point where I deemed it toxic, and then you know waking up and engaging in relationships and friendships with intention on having a different outcome.
So, what was the common denominator that your toxic behavior would invoke in your friendships or relationships with romantically or family or you know how whatever relationship it may have affected? How did it rear its ugly head?
I think for me, I've always been on my own. And so being on my own since high school and being put out of the house, being homeless at one point, and just being on my own, I've learned to not count on anybody else. And so whenever I would have disagreements or arguments or whatever, I was always quick to just cut other people off and to, I don't want to say ghost, but just to cease communication with other people, and then just frame it as, oh, they're toxic, they're gonna leave me, they're gonna mean me harm, so I need to rely on myself, just reaffirming that kind of toxic behavior, right? And so I think it could have been anything, arguments or whatever. I could be the cause, could not be the cause, but my toxic trait was just cutting people off, um, in general. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Mhm.
what what helped you what was the positive what was the positives that you got from the change when you was able to what helped you see, okay, this is giving me the results that I was looking for because I tweaked something, I changed something, I held myself accountable, I created a different energy around me. What were some of the positive things that you seen start to happen once you did that? All right. And before you answer, I got to give a intro to somebody else waiting in the queue. All right. You might know him from the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mama. His mama name him Clay. I'ma call him Clay. My man Jay Clay is in the building. Let's
Yeah.
bring Jay Clay in the chat. All right. Let's add Jay Clay. What up, my brother?
What's up, everybody?
What's going on? What's going
Hey, J.
on?
Clay.
How you doing, Miss Jersey?
Going
All
on?
right, wonderful. Thanks. How are you feeling tonight, Jay Clay? You good, bro?
Oh, brother, I'm blessed but sore.
And so
Okay.
you got the fro out. You touching it
Um,
like you stressed. I know
I,
that touch, that rub.
I'm thinking about cutting it all off, y'all. To be honest, I think,
Nah.
I think it's about that time.
Go
All
ahead and
right.
have wifey throw some braids in there
I was talking to the missus about cutting it.
or lock it
All
up.
right. So Jersey, yeah, what were some of the benefits of when you were all right before wait a minute. I don't know if you was watching it already, Jay Clay, but we were talking about Joanna brought up this topic last Thursday. She said she wanted us to talk about it tonight. And
Joanna.
she said that what are some of the toxic things that you encountered in the past, whether they were traits or situations that you dealt with in the past that you and how did you come out of it? Jersey was kind of giving us a quick rundown of how she was able to hold herself accountable, see the flaws, fix the flaws. So where we're at in the conversation right now is I'm asking her once she was able to fix the flaws and tweak or change certain things about herself, what benefit did she see from the change that she created for herself? So that's where we at in the conversation. So you won't be lost in the sauce.
Gosh, appreciate you,
All
brother. Go
right.
ahead, Miss Jersey.
All right. So what were some of the benefits of the change and holding yourself accountable and getting out of that toxic energy that you felt like at a certain point you were carrying with you?
And and I would clarify that it wasn't like solely myself that noticed this change. And I think it was my mom telling me that I was wrong in a couple of situations. And so because we have similar personalities, um, she was like, with all due respect, you're wrong in this situation. And so it was me just reflecting on like, damn, if my mom say I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Because I always call it when situations go left. I'm like, am I crazy? Or tell me, if my actions were sound or not. But anyway, so I think just seeing where I was at the time, like in high school, homeless, thinking like what is next and not wanting to be a statistic and knowing that I couldn't ghost the world or fight the world. And so I really had to pick my battles. And so I set my intention for what I wanted in my life. And then, I had to modify my behavior and my attitude for sure. And so just noticing, that old saying, you catch more flies with honey type of deal. So just learning how to play the game the way other people are playing it and noticing that people wanted to not everybody meant you harm and people truly wanted to invest and bring positivity into your life. And just because someone calls you out or highlights a behavior or something that you did does not mean XYZ. So I think that was the most positive. I was just able to keep more people around me who could provide constructive criticism, as well as valuable friendship. Mhm.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna put the what up, Pep Daddy. Daddy Pep. What up? Pep Daddy, what's going on, my brother? Welcome to the stream.
Daddy
Alright.
Pat must be on IG.
Huh?
He must be on IG.
You said this Pep Daddy. Yeah, he's on IG.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I was like, I haven't seen that name in a while, but on Instagram I have.
All right. So Jay Clay, the same question to you, my brother.
Okay.
Some toxic situations or traits that you were involved with in the past. How did you overcome it? And what are some of the benefits you've been able to experience in your life since you've made the change?
Um, I would say one of the most toxic traits that I can think of was trying to be at the center of attention.
Okay.
If that count, yeah, that's
No,
a.
that
That
counts.
I
counts.
think that's a toxic trait. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Trying to
that's
be at the center.
definitely.
I had to think for a second. Yeah, but I would say that I mainly did that like my preteen to mid teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
That was one toxic trait. And to be honest with you, I can't tell you why I did it. I really don't know why I
Okay,
did it.
I'm not saying that this is the reason why you did it, but I'm just putting the question on the table. In general, I'm not saying about you personally, but in general, do you think when someone um has a need for a lot of attention, is it to mask or cover some type of insecurity, or is it some maybe an abandonment issue that they've had where they want a lot of attention because there was some type of attention deficit that they're trying to balance out?
I think if you know what, yeah, I was angry. I was angry.
Okay.
I was masking anger, and I think learning what I gained from it, I would say, is it taught me how to express myself. See, so my thing
Okay.
was I was always taught, be a man, don't show emotions, be tough, you know,
Right.
and all that. So I typically would like hang out with friends and just try to get the most attention. Like if all eyes weren't on me, I
You felt
felt
like something was missing.
yeah, I felt invisible,
Right.
and I realized that I was dealing with stuff at home, personal stuff that I,
Okay.
didn't want to talk
Did,
about.
did you ever did you ever feel jealous of someone that was getting a lot of attention? Like, did you
No,
feel envy?
no, honestly,
No.
to be honest, I really can't say. Well, no, I was jealous of. So I was more jealous of people who had their dad in their life.
Oh, okay.
So my dad was in my life when I was a kid, but then teenage years he wasn't, and not to put his personal business out there, but he wasn't.
Okay.
And so during those teenage years, my parents would be together, then break up, and I would judge my mom. I was judging my mom because I'm like, even though her and my dad were separated, you still need to respect your father, and you need to do this and do that. So I was like, yo, I'm your son. Don't turn
Right.
on me. Like, I'm still here. He leaves. I'm still here. Don't turn on me.
Right.
But
Did you
it,
feel like there was a level of kind of like frustration or anger that she was dealing with once he left, and you had to kind of like catch the residuals?
no, it was more of at that time, that's how I felt.
Right.
At that time, that's how I felt. It was like, you know, if I would get in trouble, she would call him. He would come talk to me. And I'm like, yo, why are you coming to talk to me? You're not here. Like, don't talk to me. Like,
Right.
don't talk to me. And then I would get mad at my mom because it's like I would be disrespectful towards him, and she would jump on my back, like jump on my case. Like, you
Right.
don't do that. He's still your father. And I
Right.
would
Which she was actually right though.
no, yeah, I didn't see that at
You
that
couldn't see it then.
at then I couldn't see it. I'm more mad at her because I'm looking at like, yo, he's not here. Why are you jumping on me when I'm here and he's not?
Right.
Like I'm the man of the house. He leaves, and I like you should be on my side. And I would get mad at my grandma too, my mom's mom and my dad's mom, because they would always tell me he's still your father, blase blase. Now obviously I'm young. I don't where they were coming from, they were coming from a good place. You know, he
Right.
still is your father, respect your elders. But at that time, I would get mad because like my mom and what I saw as them acting like everything was all good, I would lash out. So like
Right.
I would do things to be the center of attention. I would be angry, so I would go fight. I would start fights, or I would just do the wrong thing to get the attention that I should be getting, not him getting.
Right.
But I guess I took it as jealousy, envy from my dad because it's like he can leave and come back and be a dad, and you love him for that, but then you get on me when I'm the one who stayed.
Right. So being able to overcome that need or want for attention, how did that add value to your relationships with people once you were able to get out of that toxic behavior?
Uh, started with forgiveness.
Okay.
Started with forgiveness,
And what you
understanding.
said brings me to another really great question. I'm gonna ask Jersey right after this. Go ahead.
Started with forgiving. Well, first it started off with understanding, um, and then forgiving, and then allowing others to forgive me. Well, asking for forgiveness, I should say.
Okay.
Um,
Bad girls in the building. What up, bad girl sniper? What up, bad girl? Welcome to the stream.
what was your other question? You said how did it change my trust with others?
No, I'm saying how did it been that the change that you went through to get out of that toxic behavior?
Mhm.
How did it benefit your relationships with other people?
Oh man, honestly, it took. I would say. I would say having an open mind before I judge.
Right.
Because I was young. I never asked the questions or I never even thought of asking the questions that needed to be asked. But I guess sitting down, having the conversation, it taught me how to express myself, like my true feelings, instead of hiding them instead of not talking about what was going on. Because I always felt like I couldn't talk to my mom because I
Mm-hmm.
felt like she was taking my dad's side. So like
Right.
I don't want to talk to you because you're taking his side when in fact I should have had those conversations. So
With
maybe
him.
with him and her,
Right.
and maybe I would have understood instead of just assuming.
Okay.
You know,
Got you.
but yeah, I think
All
that
right. All right. Jersey, I got a great question.
Yes.
All right. I want you to I want to say thank you to Jay Clay because what you just said prompted me to come up with a really great question. I've never asked this on any show. It's a brand new question. It's not a repeat question. And it gets difficult to come up with new questions and topics, but this is a new question. I've never asked this of anyone in my whole life. Jersii, I want you to tell me, what is a question that you have never asked your mother or father or both that you wish you would have or you should have?
Ooh.
A question that you've never asked your mother or father or both that you wish you would have or you feel like you should have or you should. It could still be current day. That's the question. I mean, when Jay Clay was talking, I was like, wow, that it just came to me. I'm like, because I can think of a lot of questions that I could and should ask my mother, but I haven't. Still to this day, present day and past tense, and I can think of a million questions that I could or should have asked my father, and I never have, and I don't even know if I even care to at this point. So I think that's a great topic to talk about, especially with Mother's Day around the corner.
Damn. Dang, my bad.
And I know I asked a good question because Jersii ain't have a she
ain't responding.
He looking up into the heavens.
Oh, real quick, can I do this before you answer? What up, my man Ashley? What's up, baby? And drop a bomb for my man Tom. I normally
all right, drop the bomb for Tom.
I normally do it in the chat, but I hopped on real quick.
All right, Jersii, what you got for us?
I don't know.
First of all, did you grow up with your father in your, like, was he present? Or was he adrift? What up, Cheating Death is in the building. What's going on, my brother?
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I didn't grow up with my dad. Most of my childhood, I was in foster care. So I didn't, my younger years, I wasn't with either of my biological parents. And so by the time he came back around,
some great questions.
Yeah. By the time he came back around in my adulthood, all the questions that I had for him as a child, I no longer cared at that point. And so I don't know if I have any questions for him because,
what were some of those questions back then?
I think it's like what any child, like, where were you? Why couldn't you take care of us? All that type of stuff. But I think it's, just heavy on substance use, that type of stuff. So as an adult, it's like, I don't really care at this point. I've already raised myself. So, but as far as my mom, like, we talk every day, me and my mom. So all the questions that I've had for her, I already had a chance to ask her. Like, I know the circumstances of why we were removed from the home. I know, like, what kept her going as a mother, where she could have easily have walked away. And so I think just that close relationship with my mom is why I don't have any, like, lingering questions I would ask her. I think it was just like raising trauma. And so a lot of it was just passed down because she didn't know any other way, starting having kids in her teen years. So we were kind of like raising each other at one point.
Right.
So, yeah, all the questions.
What was the most difficult question you've had to ask her, if you don't mind sharing?
I think one of the difficult ones is like what made her stay with my dad after everything they've been through. And so as a woman and having children with the same guy, she, told me some of the things she had to do as a woman to survive. And I was like, oh, I kind of get that. So luckily, you made it out of that situation. But at the time, in the 70s, I'm assuming for women, it wasn't that great to go out on your own if you didn't have, college or some type of degree or job skills.
Yeah, it's still
Like
pretty
being,
shaky out there.
yeah, it's still pretty shaky, but I think back then, like being a
I'm saying
stay at
back
home
then. I'm not talking
mom,
about now.
yeah, but
It ain't
like
that shaky now.
it's not that shaky, but I think it was less pressure on women returning to the workforce and it was more easily acceptable. Like you stay home with the kids, husband goes out, works, wife
Right.
didn't really have any skills beyond like taking care of the household, which is like a lot of skills wrapped up in one.
Right. It was
But
it was more acceptable back then, and it was also more affordable.
yeah, and more affordable. So I think when once she explained that to me, like everything that she had to sacrifice, then I got it. It's like, okay, as a woman, I get it. Even though we were raised in two completely different times,
Okay.
it's not as shaky educationally, but there's still a lot of things women have to endure these days. That's the same. That's the same fight as my mom, my grandma, my great grandma. I think we've all been fighting as women, to some extent. So not much has changed on that front, but a lot of advances has been made. I agree.
All right. Jay Clay, same question to you, my brother. What's a question that you would like to ask, should have asked of your mother or your father or both?
Why did y'all lie to me about Santa Claus?
Santa is
I'm playing.
real.
I'm gonna let that go eventually. I promise I am. Real talk. I would. I mean, all the deep stuff. I really got those answers along. I got those answers a while ago. Uh, I think I would ask. Honestly, like it's not really any deep questions I would ask. I would ask though. I would ask her what it was like to live in the '70s, grow up in the '70s, and experience the '80s. Because that was more her timeline back then. Like
Mm-hmm.
she got to live through some pretty good timelines. The '70s and the '80s. Um, um, and because we hear about like I think from my mom, we hear about um, things from the '70s and '80s. At least I do because I was born in the '90s. So I would definitely ask her like her lifestyles. Definitely got to ask her about some outfits she wore that she looked not she had no business wearing.
Hey, back then she was probably hot.
Ah, um, I mean, my mom was beautiful, but mm, them
But
puffs,
have you seen pictures
them,
of yourself though in like
them,
elementary, middle school?
I was a chunky thing. Like hey, some of the stuff I had no business wearing. She had no business dressing me up like that. I ain't gonna say in the front, but some of her puffs was like, and then my dad. I think for my dad separately, I would ask him. I would ask him why, just why,
Why? But why? What?
why did he do what he did my teenage years? Um, Definitely. Why did um, you know? Why did he feel like that was right at the time? You
Okay.
know, why did he feel like that was right at the time? Or even if he felt like that was right at the time, you know. Um, but now we're on good terms. Like I said, man, my dad dropped the ball in my teenage years, but we have gotten closer. My adult years, I'm thankful for that because a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't get that time back, you know.
Right.
And I'm blessed to be able to have that time with him. He's great with my little brother and my little sister. He's great with my niece and nephew. So I'm blessed, to have the fact that I'm blessed that God gave him a second chance.
Right.
He's doing better with his life. He's not into the street life no more. So I'm proud of the man he is today. I'm thankful that I got to know him, the real him,
Right.
and
And that's beautiful.
And that's hard to do as an adult. I don't think it's, and not saying this is any of our situation, but it's easy to look back and ask, like, why did you do this or what led you to this? But just reflecting as an adult now, it's hard to show up every day as an adult. Work, come home, pay bills, especially if you have kids, like you get no days off. You have to wake up and show up every single day. And for some people, it's you never know what personal demons, temptation is strong, and to just, to wake up consistently. And I know, Jay Clay, you married, but to just show up in your marriage every single day. I don't think we as adults get enough credit.
yeah, and I feel like that's why, and I I could be mad. I could be that typical kid I could be that a person who blames his dad, but there's no. I've and like I said, at that time, I didn't know this. I didn't think about this, but now, no, there's no book. I mean, there's books on it, but there's no right or wrong book on being a parent. There is
Mhm.
no, there is no, especially when we were growing up. There's no guidance on being a parent. You just, you winged it.
Right.
And so I try not to. I try not to be judgmental. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's mistakes either get swept under the rug, but eventually you got to pick that rug up and clean off the mess that's under it. So I'd rather. I'm grateful for the man he is. My dad's a real good man, and living in Texas, he wouldn't have the opportunities that he has where he's living now. He's a coach. He's a football coach. Um, me and him talk um, a lot more than what we used to, and I think him having a second chance with my little brother, my little sister, opened his eyes more, opened my eyes more, and I'm proud. I'm honestly, because I can honestly say I'm proud of the man that my dad is. He's a real good guy. You know.
All
And it's
right.
hard not to be judgmental, but it's like now when I have these conversations with my mom, I was like, you really had no clue what you was doing back then. And she was like, no, we got a toothache, we rubbed a little gin on it. I kept you alive. That was my one job. And I was like, bro, even as an adult, sometimes I'm like, what? Like
Look
I
here, stuff stuff that parents got to go through now, especially when it comes to raising their kids. All these mass shootings and just I feel like it was a little bit easier back then to keep your kids away from stuff like that. But now it's like,
was it this much gun violence back then? I felt like back then you fought. Like you fought with your
Nah,
fists.
it
I
wasn't.
don't
It wasn't like
yeah,
remember.
this.
it was no, but that's what
Oh,
I'm saying.
okay.
Like it wasn't as bad.
Right.
Like your parents kind of kept you away from certain things, or you weren't supposed to see it, but you saw it, type thing.
Right.
As to where now you can find it anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You can.
Ashley, me and my mama, we talk trash to each other and about each other. If like I promise y'all, if I got her on this show right now, it'd be the whole show us going at it, and everybody be laughing.
All right.
Are you gonna invite Mama J Clay on?
Oh no, she's not finna tell no stories about me.
The question I would ask
Yeah, I was
my
gonna say, what
father.
about you? So, what's some hit us with
Yeah, I'm
some deep
I'm gonna
questions.
answer it. Question I would ask my father would be, what does love for a woman and love for a child look like to him?
Mm.
What does it look like to him? Where did he learn it from, and why did he display it and give it the way that he did, and the way that he did? Because all of his kids are grown now. Not to say that he doesn't still need to give us love. But once you're grown, there, it's a different there's a different type of love you have with your parents once you're grown compared to when you were a child and you actually needed their love when you were a child.
And you've
When you're an
defined
adult, it's
to
optional.
some extent. You've defined what your version of love is, how you express it, and while you would still like it, it's not a necessity because you've had life experience
Right.
of,
So
of
that would be the question that I would ask him is
for
what
sure.
is his definition of love for a woman and love for his children? So I can get a better understanding of why he was the way that he was. Cause I mean, I don't know the intricate details of him and the rest of the women that he was involved with and had children with. But I do know most of the intricate details of how he went about raising his children. And he didn't do a really good job. And I can honestly say that because most of the time he wasn't free. He was incarcerated. So you can't do but such a good job from behind bars.
At
So I would ask,
around how old is your father?
he has to be about 63, 64. He has to be somewhere around there. So,
So born in
and
the 60s,
I can
70s.
speak to him. What you said, Jersey?
So that's estimating born around late 60s, somewhere in there, early 70s, 60s, early
Well,
60s.
yeah, it had to be in the 60s because I was born in 76 and I'm 46. So he had to be in somebody do the math.
We
Somebody
too
do the
tired.
math. I'm on the show. I can't do the math, but
He was
yeah,
born in between 56 and 60.
there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So he was born in the 1950s, maybe the 60s, but I ain't good with the quick math, especially at my brain capacity after these last 2 days. I am on fumes, so I'm not good at math in general. I'm definitely not gonna be good now. But I would ask him that question so I could have a better understanding because I think that I already have a preconceived perception of what it is, but I've never asked him. So I'm really just assuming by his actions, but his actions throughout the years, but I've never asked him the question to really dig and delve into it more deeply.
You
And
said,
the reason
sorry, you said he's 67?
no, he got to be about 63 or 64.
Oh, okay. My bad.
So yeah, that would be the question that I would ask him. And I could ask him it, I could probably call him right now and ask him if I wanted to. But I don't really have the desire to, but to answer the question and answer it honestly, that would be the question. If I ever decided to do it, that would be the question that I would ask him. As for my mother, the question that I should have or would want to ask her, but I never have. Oh boy. I would ask her. I would ask her. I would ask her how did my reaction to her in her dark days? How did my reaction to her? How did the way that I treated her? How did it affect her for the better or negatively and positively? I would ask her, how did it, did it hurt you? Did it motivate you? Did you understand? Could you understand? Back then. I know she can understand it now because she's sober. But I would ask her, how did she feel in the moment when she wasn't? And when she was living it, how was it affecting you, the fact that I had to distance myself from you? Did it help or did it hurt? And I've never asked her that question. She's kind of answered it in her own way, but I've never straight up asked her myself.
Okay.
And the reason why I never asked her is because through her actions and through some of her words, and I'm just, listen to the things she say, I can feel what the answer is. And since she's come out of it, I don't like to go back and revisit it. She lived it already. She don't need to be reminded of it, especially not from me. So,
Well, I think to some extent, she will always be reminded of it. And I don't know I know some of the details. I think we talked about it years ago, but I think when you have people in general involved in substance use, whatever it is, and especially if they have kids, they're reminded of it constantly by the years they've missed or lost due to their actions. There's a lot of remorse, regret, some elements of anger, probably. And so, through her continued choice to remain sober and to build a better relationship, I think those who have battled with substance use are always reminded of it. But I get your point of you not wanting to be the one to remind her of it. But for her, and I can only speculate, I'm sure she's reminded of it, and it keeps her moving forward positively.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you can't just delete and
right.
erase 20 something years of your life. And the most important years, you just can't blank those out. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that she's reminded of it, and it'll always be etched in her mind and memory. But like you said, it won't be I won't be the one to continue to she lived it, she lived it. I don't need to
Mhm.
ask her to relive it again. I'm good. I love my mother with all my heart. And to see her be able to come out of it and really I was able to I can remember the woman that I see now. I remember when I was a child. I remember at 5, 6 years old looking at her and thinking that she was just the most wonderful, beautiful person in the world. And that's how I see her again now. So it's not that I never saw that side of her. I had to be reintroduced to her.
Hmm.
So it makes me feel better that it's not that I found this out about her. I was reintroduced. So I was able to go back to and relive those memories from 6 years old,
Yeah.
at, now at, you know, me and her, we just went to City Island this weekend, and she just, oh my God, Tovi, I haven't been to City Island. I remember when I brought you here and you was a little boy and the seagulls was trying to steal the French fries off our plates, and just to see the happiness in her eyes. That's when that's before the addiction,
Yeah.
So I
Man,
like
drop
to
a
talk
bomb.
about those. I like to talk about those things.
Drop a
But
bomb
also
of happiness.
too,
Yeah, we're
not
going to go ahead and
that
drop a bomb.
not that you there are ways to bring it up, I guess, if you wanted to, in positive ways. Um, just getting her mindset or asking her questions, knowing, just kind of reassuring in her that you accept all parts of her, which I'm sure she knows, but that you want to talk about it in healthy ways that doesn't end in argument or resentment, etc. So just, accepting all parts of her, including the parts, that she may have struggled with accepting in herself. And so there are ways, but if you don't want to be the person to bring those memories up, then that's completely understandable. But at the same time, if you do have lingering questions, especially while we are, somewhat all fortunate to have our parents or people who have raised us around, you definitely don't want to leave this earth not asking questions that you could have asked while they were here.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
absolutely right. And I appreciate your advice, but yeah, we're good though. Like I don't have the same way she lived it, so did I. So
Right.
I know what it is. I know what it is, and I know what it was, and I'm just happy what it is now.
See, and I think for me, that's why I never really asked my dad those questions because some of the things that they did, they gotta live with, and they gotta live with knowing that you saw it or that you know.
Right.
And
That's
I feel like that's like hell enough for them,
right.
knowing that their child saw it. So like for me, I think I personally don't want to know the answer because
Mhm.
you know young me saw it. Young
Right.
me didn't know what was going on, didn't know what to ask, didn't know what to do. Older me is like, okay, that happened. We could either let that make us or break us, you know, It already broke. It broke me as a young kid.
Right. It already broke me
Yeah,
once.
it broke me once, and now I can just all I can do now is forgive the situation. Hug them. Whether I choose to move on or stay, that's on me. But I definitely do agree that I got to. I rather experience you now than have
Then
to go
go
back
back.
and experience that
Right.
again.
And
You know,
Ashley Larry brings up a great point. He said he thinks people forget that parents were once young, because they're your parent. So when you're young, I don't think I know I didn't. Y'all can tell me if you did or if you didn't. But when you're young, your mother is your mother. I don't think that you're not equivalating how much age difference it is between the two of you.
yeah,
That's just your mother. You're not thinking, well, she's a young mother. You're not thinking that because you're young.
yeah.
So anyone who's an adult in your eyes, anyone who's older is an adult. But by the time I was 5, my mother was 20,
Mm-hmm.
20, 21 years old. Excuse my language, but she ain't know what the fuck she was doing.
Yeah.
She's 21 years old. Ashley Larry brings up a great point.
But you
But
have some adults now who are 30s, 40s, 50s and are just now learning it.
right,
And
I don't know what the
so
fuck I'm doing either.
Look here. Look here.
and it's
I,
the
it,
added
I'm
pressure.
trying to fake it till I
Like
I'm telling you, I'm faking it till I make it.
Go
like
ahead,
we
Judge.
as
I'm just playing.
I was saying it's that
What up,
added
BX the
pressure.
Great One with your Rudy Pool candy eyes? What's going on, bro?
It's some added pressure for sure, especially because kids look at adults. Even we look at our peers like, damn, you are more adult than I'm an adult. How you know your driver's license number, your social, all these numbers you just got memorized in your mind? Like, that's crazy to me. But, as a child, you look at an adult like you're supposed to be mature, you're supposed to have it all together, take care of your family. And then it's not until you grow up that you realize, oh shit, I got to do this like every day. I gotta pay these bills every month.
Yeah,
Look at
I gotta
here.
show up
life
to
is a
work every
struggle.
day. And right, and I work all these hours and I'm barely keeping these lights on and putting food in the
Right.
refrigerator. Like it's not as perfect as we have create like this image we created in our mind. And our parents even have like this added pressure because they gotta keep not only their shit together, but they gotta keep your shit together while you complain and cry and fuss
Look,
and blame them and hate them. And so it's just like it's
Throw a
just a
tantrum
cycle.
because
Yeah,
they ain't
throw
get
a
out these
tantrum.
prom.
some of these kids, they ask me, "Hey, Mr. Clay, uh, so do you know this and this?" And I'll be like, "Brother, you better ask your mama because I don't.
All right.
I
Her mama didn't name her Clay, but we still gonna call her Clay. Andy Clay is in the building. What up, Andy Clay? She said sometimes having those convos can heal the inner child in yourself, regardless of how much you under now that you're an adult. Regardless of how much what you talking about, like stress or
I
Oh,
was
just
probably
older,
like how much,
older.
regardless of how much you understand now that you're an adult.
how much you understand now that you're an adult. Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes you do need to go back. I don't know. Some people need to have the conversation. Okay, yeah, she said I meant to say understand. Some people need to have that conversation with their inner child, and some people actually have to have the conversation with their parent. It all depends on how far. I think it depends on how far you've allowed yourself to heal and how far it is behind you in your rearview mirror. For
And
me, it's
everybody's particular situation, because even though it can heal the inner child, just expanding off of that. Also, too, you lived it from your perspective, and she lived it from her perspective. So, while you may not have the conversation, and not just you, but just us as adults in general, while you may not have the conversation, you filled in the blanks. Well, they must have A because of B, and now the situation is C. And so you've healed on that premise that you filled in the blanks yourself and you have your perspective, while they have their perspective of what was going on, their mentality, what they were seeing, what they were dealing with, their pressure. So having that conversation can help clear up maybe some inaccuracies that the other person has built in order to fill in the gaps. So maybe not reliving the trauma for trauma's sake or to heal the inner child, but it helps give that perspective of, okay, this is what I was thinking was happening this entire time from my perspective of what I was seeing. And they could tell you, well, this is what was going on at the time that led me to do A. That's why you saw B and the outcome was C.
Right. And Andy Clay said sometimes it can heal the inner child, and that's true. But also it can reopen that wound. And I would rather just stay healed. I would rather just stay healed, because then you might want to go back and start asking certain questions, and you might end up hurt. So if you're genuinely good and you're genuinely healed and you're genuinely moved on from it, yeah, you can go back and start asking questions, but understand the answers may not always heal you. They actually might end up hurting you more than you might end up worse than you were when going into the conversation. And now you might need 3, 4, 5 more years to heal all over again. So it's a flip of the coin, It's a flip of the coin.
My peoples, got to call it short. I got to get ready to take the dogs out.
All right, I heard him in the background. He gave you a little warning.
Before I go, I'm gonna let y'all say goodbye to Andy, let him in.
I'm gonna have a moment. So Andy Clay, I'm assuming, is the wife.
Yes, ma'am. That's the missus. That's the love of the life. The sheriff, the captain of the ship.
I thought it was a coincidence for a second until you just said Andy.
That's the captain of the ship. She's the captain of the mothership. Come here, fat boy. Uncle Tove want to see you.
Oh, tell El Capitan to come say hi.
Oh, my man, the British Bulldog.
Look at him.
You want to say hi?
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he's 95 pounds.
95 pounds.
Oh, come here, son.
He needs a child harness. He needs to start paying rent. 95 pounds.
Say hi. Oh, he's shy.
He ain't. He camera shy. There you go. What is his name again?
Midas.
Oh, he's a big boy.
Yeah, that's my pride and joy. Okay, definitely. I'm gonna
enjoy your walk, Midas.
But
he's like he ready to go.
Yeah, she's camera shy. My wife is
She
camera
said,
shy.
"Sorry, not coming on camera, but I love y'all."
Oh, we love you too, Andy.
All right,
Jay Clay.
Me.
I'm trying to see y'all Thursday.
Absolutely, I'll be back on Thursday, my brother. Thank you for jumping in the chat. Jumping on the stream with me. God bless you.
God bless y'all. Y'all be safe tonight.
Have a wonderful and productive next couple of days. And we got to do the outro. Come on. Actually, hold on. We're going to bring you to the front of the stage. All right. All right, there you go. It's your boy, Little Fat Mushy Tove, representing the WCIS. We can inspire someone. OPP, only promote positivity. Shout out to Uncle DV. Shout out to Waterbed Heb. Shout out to WCIS community. It's all about unity. All right. God bless you, my man, Jay Clay.
All right, y'all be good. Oh, look, now you want to say goodbye?
Enjoy.
Now you want to say goodbye?
All right, stay safe out there, bro. Later. Stay safe out there, bro. I ain't mean to cut you off. Later, bro.
Y'all be good.
All right, later.
I thought the dog had jumped up on the thing and hit the button.
Nah, that was me. I'm fumbling right now. I'm I see 2 of you, 3 of me.
You got some hyperglycemic shock over there. You need to put something in your belly.
All right. So before I get out of here, let me actually, you know what? Let's change it up a little bit. I asked you a question. Let me see. I want you to throw a question up. I want you to throw a question at me. Let's see if you have you hit me or the chat with a good question. Because it don't always have to be under my narrative. It don't have to always be what So I want you to want you to tell me if you have a good question for the people, for me, and we can jump into it real quick. Because I know what I want to talk about, but I'm going to save that for Thursday because I'm not going to be this tired or hungry or sleepy on Thursday, and I could really sink my teeth into it and get into it. So I ain't even gonna say what it is, but I'm gonna put it up on the Instagram. Y'all gonna see. But we're gonna get into a good conversation on Thursday. So let Jersey Devil hit the people, and hit myself with a question. You got a question for the people, Jersey?
I don't think I have a question that can be discussed like quickly. I know it's always dangerous whenever we start talking because we talk for hours. And so I know I wanted to send you a video clip. I don't know if you saw it, where the guy had took this lady out that he met on Tinder to a
Mm-hmm.
restaurant, and she brought her kids. And so he like secretly filmed it and then walked out on her. And so
Mm. I mean, I could jump onto that. I could jump onto that topic real quick because the way I feel about that is a very is not elongated. Number one, if a man, if you are a man and you have a purposeful goal to try to embarrass a woman, you're a bozo. There's something wrong with you.
agreed.
There's something wrong with you. If any man wants to purposely embarrass a woman, you might be more of a woman than she is. That's number one. As a man, we shouldn't be out here trying to embarrass a woman. Are you kidding me? So you not only do you want to embarrass her, not only do you want to embarrass her by bringing it up to her or talking about it in public. I didn't see the video, but to videotape it and then post it where other people can see. So that means you didn't want to just embarrass her between you and her. You wanted to embarrass her to the world. And then to pile on top of that, you want to embarrass her with her children present? Nah.
Yeah, that was
I
crazy.
can't, excuse my language, but I can't fuck with you. I can't. I can't. No, I can't. I can't respect it. I can't rock with it. And it's something wrong with you if you out here trying to purposely embarrass a woman. If she did something to you to get up under your skin, got you in your feelings, got you in your emotions, as a man, you get up, you explain to her why you're getting up and why you're leaving and why you're walking away, and you walk away like a man.
Do you feel that's a conversation that men should have with women who have children, or women should have with men who have children? When you're dating a parent,
I
should
think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead. Is that a conversation that should be had before you go out? Like, should you disclose, hey, I have kids, especially if you're like on Tinder or something, hey, I have children, XYZ, to give that other person the chance to say, hey, I want to date a parent or not?
Okay, I mean, I'm assuming on Tinder they have whether you have kids or not. I'm pretty sure that you don't have to post it because that is a very delicate subject for some people where they don't want, for various reasons, they don't want someone, a stranger that they're, dating online or going out on a date with. They may not want them to know that they have children for a multitude of reasons. So it may be an option, but you may, as a woman, you might not put it because you may feel like, well, he may not want to really rock with me or deal with me, or he's going to eliminate me if I say I have children. So number one, if you're on a dating site and you have children, I think you should tell the man that you have children. That's number one, because that is a big factor when it comes to relationship and dating.
Right.
Not a date, but dating. That's a factor. It may not be a big factor for everyone, but it is a factor. Um, Now, if he didn't know that she was going to show up with her children, that is also something that she should have told him. I don't think you should just show up. If I have a date with you, I don't think you should just show up with someone else. You may have to show up with your children, but at least let me know.
Yeah, I think that was the situation on the clip that I saw. He didn't know she had kids, and on top of
Right.
that,
Well,
he didn't know that she was gonna bring them. But at the same time, I agree. Like, and I think that goes back to conversations that we've had in the past, where everybody trying to get attention and posting things on social media, and that seems to be the goal, and not trying to make a genuine connection with people. But at
right.
this, but it's just kind of tricky. And then it went into this whole thing about men. Raising other men or influencing men and just the behavior. And they've noticed this shift generationally of how men treat women. these days.
Yeah, we're in a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle of disrespect from men to women and women to men. And until one party, which should be the man, because we are the men, we want to sit and say we the leaders, but we won't stop the behavior. The more we feed into it, the bigger the problem becomes. So yeah, even if a woman pulls out a phone and she's trying to embarrass you and put you on TikTok or put you on YouTube or whatever she's trying to put you on, you don't retaliate and in return by doing the same thing to her, because that makes, first of all, you're a man. And the first thing men love to yell and scream about in this day and age in 2023 is men and women are different. We not equal. I'm a man and this and that. Okay, so then in those vital moments and in those crucial situations, you have to act like a man. You know, and a masculine man is not going to perpetuate the embarrassment, because now you know once you embarrass a woman, she can get in her feelings and her emotions, and now it's going to turn into a real circus.
Yeah. And Tom said, if you got kids, you have no business being on Tinder.
I disagree with that. If you have children, you have the right to look for love anywhere you want. And a lot of people may say, well, on a dating app, what kind of person are you going to find on a dating app? You're not going to find love. You're not going to find anybody of any substance. But I mean, in the world that we live in now, we interact more online than we do face to face. So now it's no longer taboo.
Yeah, I think that's what was it? That plenty of fish or something? It used to be known as the hookup, but and especially post COVID, but even before that, when I think we interact more online, even younger, even in high school, middle school, they're not talking to each other. They're tagging each other and talking on Instagram or whatever. So yeah, I think dating sites used to be like, let's lie about where we met, or let's,
Yeah, I don't think it's like that no more.
Yeah.
He said Tinder is sketchy. You're on there for hookups. I mean, men and women want to hook up regardless of where they meet. That's just men and women's nature. So I think it comes with the expectation of, oh, you on Tinder? Yo, we hooking up. And that may be a young energy, but there's also an older energy on dating websites and dating apps that are not just looking to hook up. There's older women and men on these apps looking for companionship because they're lonely. And that may be their last resort, or they may feel like this might be their most successful opportunity.
And people are working or doing whatever, and so that's the largest opportunity to be exposed to, a large pool of the opposite gender or same gender or whatever. So just going to the grocery store or to the park or wherever, and you could be shy, could be whatever. There may not be a lot of people there, but if you go on a dating site, you're exposed to thousands of people within your what? I don't know. I'm not on Tinder, but I'm assuming it's like a radius.
Right. And also you're absolutely right. You're exposed to thousands of people within the radius, but the expectation is already set because you already know
we're both here.
Yeah, you know what everybody's supposedly. I understand that Tom did say it's sketchy. I don't really know anything about Tinder. I think that all dating apps can become sketchy because I think when people realize that you're on a dating app and you're lonely, I think that you become susceptible. And I think you also become a target to people because a lot of times when you're lonely, you become desperate. So I think any place where you have an abundance of lonely people can become sketchy, because with loneliness comes desperation. And when people get desperate, they start making decisions that they wouldn't make if they weren't so desperate.
Yeah.
So I think that any dating app can become sketchy. Now, I don't know the reputation of Tinder because I'm not on dating apps, so I don't know which one has more of a reputation than the other. But I think any dating app can become sketchy when you have hundreds of thousands of people, some of them lonely, some of them, you know, you can just pick your poison. There's a lot of different things that people can aim and target when it comes to finding a group of people that's all looking for love or sex or money or a side hustle or a scheme. Like it's just a lot of things to
Yeah.
it's a lot of things that you have to be aware of. So but
And
going back to what you said, Jersey, yeah, that guy is dead wrong. Even if she was trying to take advantage of him and get a free meal for her and her kids, that's still wrong. You do not do that. You don't do that. And it's not masculine. It's not funny. It's not cool. It's not cute. It comes across as it's a real bitch move. Excuse my language. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's a real bitch move, to be honest. It is. It really is. If you're trying to embarrass a woman, that's not a very manly thing to do. It's
yeah.
not. It's not.
And especially, I think I'm in agreement that parents, moms, dads, whoever can be on dating apps. At least if you're on a dating app, everyone understands or have this like common understanding that, hey, we're on this app looking for something. So let's figure out what that something is, whether it's hookup or serious or whatever. I don't know the reputation of Tinder, but I know that they have come up with what, like Hinge. I see commercials for Hinge or like Christian Mingles or something.
Mm-hmm. Now
So
I
there's
don't know about I don't know about Christian Mingle.
that's the older one though.
I don't know about the Christian Mingle because
It's like Christian Mingle
what is
or
what is the filter to keep the non who's keeping the devil off of Christian Mingle?
I don't know. I see commercials. They still have commercials about these dating apps. I know
Yeah,
Hinge
no,
is like the
I'm
new
being
one.
serious. Like if you on Christian Mingle, you automatically gonna assume there's other Christians on there. But who can keep the devil off of Christian Mingle? You can't.
I would assume. I have no clue. And what was that other one? Farmers Only or something? So
Ashley Larry said, clapping the cheeks for the Lord. You can take the picture, but only the Lord can make it for you.
you know, I'm sure certain ones have certain reputations, but I know like Hinge or Bumble are the newer ones that's supposed to be like, okay, these are the
More
relationship ones.
upscale.
Yeah, I'm like more like relationship oriented, I would assume.
Well, I mean,
But that's like oh, the point I was making, that's like dating somebody or meeting them wherever. They could be telling you whatever and you don't know their true intentions. So the same way could be online. You just have that added. You don't know what they look like, if that's their real pictures or whatever, but you
right.
run into the same kind of susceptibility on both fronts where you're dating somebody that you met at the store for a couple of months and then you find out some things, or you start an online relationship and then you find out something
Right.
for sure.
I think that'll be a great topic for the show, even on Thursday. Although I had a topic for the show on Thursday, but I think that would be a great topic to talk about on the show for
Or dating
Thursday is
apps.
dating apps and dating, just like different scenarios of dating apps, dating with children, the do's and the don'ts, the wills and the won'ts. I think that's another good conversation that we as a people and we as the WCIS is something that we haven't really talked about, and I think that would lead to a lot of good conversations of the parameters and what you think you should, the pros and the cons. What are the pros of um dating someone who has children? What are some of the cons? Everyone is different. If a man has children, it might be a 100% pro that he's dating another woman who has children, because her children are without a father and his children are without a mother in their lives, actively. Yeah, I don't want to say without, but void of a mother in the household or void of a father in the household. So maybe both people can fill that void. You could be single and look at dating a woman with a child or with children as a pro, because maybe you don't want to have any kids, So now you can live out your daddy dreams. You can live out your daddy dreams with someone else's kids. It's a
But
lot. You
that
might like people
that
think
comes
that
with a
it's
lot of pressure. I was just talking to my friend yesterday, and he was telling me about the drama with his current, or I guess ex fiance, and
oh, I could
her
only imagine.
child's father, and coming into that role with someone who has kids as a man, and they have a son, or she has a son and a daughter, but him and the daughter don't get along. She's an adult daughter who still lives at home. And then now him trying to father, or stepping into that active father role, with another man being in the picture. And now he's imparting on what, being a man is and whatever. And now it's just competing between him and the dad, where he's with her,
Right.
and the other guy, so I feel like it's a great conversation, especially if you have a mixture of men and women, who can give, like, oh, this is my expectation of dates and dating now. Men, what do you think?
Right.
And then the pitfalls of, and the benefits of dating someone with kids or with an established family.
Right. So I think this is a great way to bring the show to a close. So on Thursday, we are going to talk about, and we hear this term used a lot. We're going to talk about we're not going to talk about who should bring what to the table. We're going to talk about the table.
Oh, what is this table
What
that we all
what
talk about?
is the table? Exactly. What is the table? What is it to you? What is it that you want placed on your table? I think that will encompass dating with children, dating apps, uh one night stands, hookup culture. We can dive into all of that if we can put it under that one moniker of the table, because the table is different to everybody. And
And everybody has a different value they placed on what they consider their table is. And while I may say I value my table at whatever, if my goal is to attract the opposite gender, or a partner, they may value my table at nothing. And it's like
right,
there's a mismatch that I think we're not placing realistic value.
exactly. So that's what we're going to talk about on Thursday. So hopefully everyone in the chat, if y'all want to get into that conversation on Thursday, hopefully you'll be back on Thursday to delve into that. Um
What did I actually
every
say? Devin, get the table?
Devon, it's a wrestling
Oh,
term. Devon, get the table. The Dudley boys. Look it up. You'll get the joke if
I
you
know
ever
who the Dudley Boys is.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I haven't heard that in a
It ain't like
long
the Dudley
time.
boys is household names.
I I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of that terminology, or even the Dudley Boys, in a long time.
All
Not
right.
since I
So
was singing the Monday Night Raw
there
theme
you go.
song.
All right. See, you just earned some cool points. Everybody in the chat,
WFO.
thank you. Thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you. Hopefully you have a wonderful and productive next 2 days. And I love to see you back on the show on Thursday night. We're going to get into a good conversation. Hopefully, Jersey Devil, you can join us. I appreciate you jumping in to the stream. Jay Clay, thank you. Because let me tell y'all, when I sat down, I'm not that tired right now. I'm gonna go and fix myself something to eat, and I still have to do some. They coming back to renovate more stuff tomorrow, y'all, at 8 in the morning. So I still have to move a couple of things around, so I don't have to get up early and do it tomorrow. Cause he not. I'll give him one. I'll give him his credit. He shows up on time at 8 o'clock.
He may not do it to your
He's here.
level of perfection, but he
Yes,
show up.
his level of perfection needs needs a little work, but I'll give him one thing. He's punctual. So Jersey, thank you so much for jumping in, because like I said, when I sat down, I don't know, my energy wasn't right, but you and Jay Clay definitely, good conversation will always bring the energy. And I appreciate you. I appreciate your point of view, and hopefully you can jump in on Thursday so we can really delve into that conversation, because I think it's a great conversation, and it's a great conversation that needs to be had, because I think it's a conversation that needs to be had in harmony. You know, I think it's a conversation that needs to be had in harmony, because it usually brings so much conflict when you start talking about this table.
Because men bring a different point of view that we as women want to tell you, or we have gotten comfortable with telling men what they're supposed to be doing and what they're supposed to bring to the table, and vice versa. But no one is having a conversation with each other. It's to
Exactly.
have a mutual understanding.
Right. It's about what are y'all going. It's not about what I bring to your table or you bring to my table. It's about, first we got to make sure that the table is built sturdy enough to hold the weight of a great foundation. You know, you can have a table, but you put the microwave and the air fryer on the table and it collapsed, then the table is not gonna do you any good.
And
Table has to
that
be
air
strong,
fryer
number
pretty
one.
big.
Yeah.
It take
I'm
up
about
some
to go
space.
use my air fryer right now.
And that's
And
so
it
you
is
better
pretty
heat
big.
up.
But
It take up a lot of space.
but yeah, you gotta first make sure that the table is sturdy. And then you gotta have room for both of y'all at the table. I don't want you to just come to my table and sit something on it. I want you to sit down at the table with me. I don't want you to just bring something to the table and walk away. No, we got to sit down at this table together. But I don't want to get too deep into it. Thursday we will get into that conversation. So Jersey, if you have any parting words, you could hit them with your parting words. If not, we could just hit the outro. Cause Ashley, yeah, I am gonna go I'm gonna go make me a real meal, not a sandwich. I'm hungry enough to make
Listen,
a real
Ashley,
meal at 12 o'clock midnight.
when you got an air fryer, you ain't got to make a wish, baby. Let me tell you about
Yeah,
this air
you
fryer.
ain't need no sandwich. Yeah, you can go make you a real meal in about 15 minutes in that big ass air fryer.
Okay, you throw some season on some meat, set that
Huh?
bad boy. I said you throw some season on some meat, put it in that air fryer. By the time you use the bathroom, wash your hands, get your drink right, get your
Yeah.
plate. It's ready to go.
Yeah, it's good to go. All right.
It's good to go.
Jersey, you want to hit the outro with me?
Yeah, let's go ahead and hit it.
All right, let's hit that outro. All right. I want to say thank you to the WCIS. This is your boy Lil Fat Mushy Toe representing the WCIS. We can inspire someone. OPP, only promote positivity. Shout out to Waterbed Hev. Shout out to Uncle DV. Shout out to Jay Clay. And shout out to Miss Jersey Devil. Don't forget the MD. All right. And shout out to the WCIS community. That is all about unity. All right. Thank you so much, Jersey. God bless you. Congratulations. And thank you to everyone in the chat. I want y'all to stay blessed, stay beautiful, but most importantly, stay positive. Peace out. All right. We'll see y'all on Thursday. Later, Jersey.
All right, bye.
All right. Later, y'all.